So is Red still thinking about giving you the car, maybe?
Even if we do get it, we're gonna need some serious gas money, because the cruiser's a boat.
I know it's a boat. This whole gas shortage bites.
Who's getting a boat?
There is no gas shortage, man. It's all fake. The oil companies control everything. Like, there's this guy who invented this car that runs on water, man. It's got a fiberglass air-cooled engine and it runs on water.
So it is a boat.
No, it's a car. Only you put water in the gas tank instead of gas. And it runs on water, man!
I never heard of this car.
Water has always been considered a precious commodity, but Stan Meyer's invention may make it even more valuable. He has developed what's called a water fuel cell. It has taken the place of his old gas tank. The water fuel cell breaks down water molecules into oxygen and hydrogen. The hydrogen is used to run his dune buggy.
I don't care if you use rainwater, well water, city water, ocean water. If you don't have any fresh water, go ahead and use snow. If you don't have any snow available to you, they use salt water because there's no adverse effect through the fuel cell.
Meyer started working on this project 4 years ago. He's not a scientist. He isn't even a chemist. In fact, he never graduated from college. Myers was determined, he says, to design something to protect this country from oil embargoes.
And we have calculated that if we take the dune buggy from Los Angeles to New York, we would roughly use 22 gallons of water.
The Pentagon flew a lieutenant colonel in last week to look at Meyer's invention. There's talk of possibly using it in the Star Wars defense program and to run Army tanks.
This is one of those stories which I find it really hard to believe, but according to different sources, yeah, that is what actually happened. And Meyer, he died of unknown causes, but I think that he was actually poisoned because special interest groups, they just wanted to take his ideas and turn a profit, because you can't make any money from free energy. Rest in peace, Stanley Meyer. You will be missed. Here's my 2 cents on electric vehicles. Okay. I don't think that we're quite there yet, even though it's a really good concept. Realistically, the electric bill would probably be a lot more than what we would normally pay for gasoline if we make the switch. And for what I've seen, you know what? Water is free. You can find it anywhere. And there's a lot more cons and pros, I think, when it comes to owning an electric vehicle. I think it's going to take hours to charge a thing, whereas if you use hydrogen, it would probably be more efficient. You can basically refuel anywhere, as opposed to in lockdown cities or in places where they don't have these chargers, which take a tremendous amount of energy. I'm wondering how much money does it cost to charge these cars?
Do you remember there was a video that was circulating many years ago about a guy who created a car to run on water? He created a car that runs on water. And then this car that ran on water, I mean, he apparently had a viable engine and it was really working. And then he had a heart attack. And as he was dying, he was saying, "They killed me. They killed me." And then he died. Nobody heard from the water engine again. Meyer said that his invention could do what physicists say is impossible: turn water into hydrogen fuel efficiently enough to drive his dune buggy cross-country on 20 gallons straight from the tap. Wow. He took a sip of cranberry juice. Then he grabbed his neck, bolted out the door, dropped to his knees, and vomited violently. I ran outside and asked him what's wrong. His brother Stephen Meyer recalled. He said, "They poisoned me." That was his dying declaration.
Do you think that Stanley Meyer was murdered? And do you believe that we should see resurgence of water-powered vehicles? Please share your thoughts down in the comments section. Like, share, and subscribe. God bless.
So now, all of a sudden, all these, ExxonMobil people and so on, wait a minute. All our huge profits, you're taking our gas away and you're replacing it with water? No, we can't have that. What are you going to do with all our supporting stockholders? What are you going to do with all the people that are investors, What are you going to do with all the people that are basically your employees? You can't stop us. You have something totally different. Simple thing is water? And you're going to put us out of business? Something's wrong here. That can't be.
They'll put the FBI, the NSA, the CIA after you, because they don't want this cat out of the bag, because they won't make any money. The bankers won't make money anymore, so this is like terror to them, water.
Yes, I think it stands to reason that it is possible that Stanley Meyer was onto something real, and he was running his car on mainly hydrogen. But I think that what happened was that his patents could not be replicated because he left out some important parts. So the patent was used to publish enough to protect his technology, but not to give it out. You can't just implement it out of what he did. I haven't found enough information in what Stanley Meyer left to replicate his technology. So what I did is I just took everything that I could find and gave it to others and say, hey, I give you a system where you can see that there's something to it, and you can place some of your gasoline with hydrogen. Now here's Stanley Meyer's documents and patents. If you can do something with it, please do. I'm just giving it for free, but I couldn't replicate it myself, and none of my friends could either.
Now, between me and you and a lamppost, the reason why I'm not seeing tons of this stuff out there, if they see what happened to Stanley, they might be, you know what? I don't want to walk in the same shoes because it might happen to me too.
The oil companies do them. They hire like the mafia to do it. They don't do the dirty work. They hire a guy to hire a guy. That's what I've read. It makes sense, you know. They hire a guy to hire a guy, and you just take thugs, you know. And you give them the money, people do anything, you know.
He was in contact with some guys from Belgium representing some energy enterprise. They wanted to buy his patents and his technology. As I gathered, he actually refused. I think it was $250 million or something. And once he refused, then he was announcing that he was going to do it himself. Then he was eliminated by poisoning or something like that.
So imagine you have a group of professional people at a luncheon, and all of a sudden, they start off with a toast. And what's interesting about the toast, it's cranberry juice. So let's have a toast with cranberry juice. Stanley takes his sip, and within not even a minute, he basically starts to shake, stands up, tries to run out the exit of the restaurant. His brother is frantic, runs after him. He goes, "What's going on, Stan? What's going on?" And Stan goes, "I don't know what's going on, but I think I was poisoned." And a couple of minutes later, he's dead. Right there.
I think that Stanley Meyer was hit because he was not willing to give the information of how he runs a car totally on hydrogen. And I think the guys that were offering to buy it from him wanted to just kill it, forbid him from doing it, and then they would just put it in the deepest drawer that they can find. That's what I think they would have done with that, not give it to mankind or anything.
What I think is he was murdered, because wouldn't you want to stop somebody if they're going to put me out of billions of dollars worth of business?
For me, Water for Gas, I see it as a movement, not as a company, because I teach people how to turn water into some usable form of energy. And I put it into use in my own car.
How does this water fuel technology work? What's the science behind it?
I took a mason jar, just a kitchen jar, and I put some electrodes in there, which means just metal wires running down and a little bit of baking soda to make the water conduct electricity. So far, it's very, very basic science. It's high school science. Now, when you put 12 volts into the water, it starts doing something called electrolysis, splits the water into hydrogen and oxygen. Now you take that hydrogen and you throw it into the engine, any engine. It could be a lawnmower, it could be a big truck, anything in between. You throw it, it's like throwing a match. And it makes the fuel there burn better than what the car engineers have done. That's all it is. It's just you're making it better by this little addition. The hydrogen makes the fuel burn better. And that's how we increase the mileage. We don't increase the mileage from 100%. We just take the 20, the miserable 20 that we get from these shiny cars, and we improve it a little bit. Just go there, all the information is there, how to download it, what to do with it, for creating a hydroxy system.
The death of inventor Stanley Meyer is suspicious, to say the least. Unfortunately, the hard evidence to prove he was murdered simply doesn't exist. Now, that doesn't mean he wasn't murdered. It just means we can't prove it. We do, however, have Meyer's patents. They're available online for anyone to see. And hopefully, one day, someone may be able to duplicate Meyer's device, assuming they haven't been frightened off by his untimely and suspicious death.